A very good afternoon and welcome to NTV News. I am Siksha Sharma. We take a look into the headlines first. Koshi province government likely to undergo a zero budget situation following recent ruling of the court, deadline to replace budget ordinance expiring on Sunday. India and China agree to de-escalate tensions along the disputed border, agree to step up efforts for the disengagement of troops along the LAC. Former US President Trump surrenders after being booked on charges of plotting to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia, says charges are politically motivated. And Nepal batting against host Malaysia in its third encounter in MCA Women's T20 Quadrangular Cricket Series. Welcome back to NTV News Now. The news in detail. The government of Koshi province is likely to undergo a zero budget situation following recent ruling of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has ordered the government led by Uddhav Thapa not to take any policy level decisions as his vote to test eligibility as the province head remains debatable at the court. Thapa's government had prepared to bring the replacement budget, but the court's ruling has now halted the process. The ordinance to replace the budget must be passed by Sunday, August 27. Then Chief Minister Hikmat Kumar Karki had presented the budget through an ordinance at the Parliament on June the 15th. The ordinance to replace budget must be passed within 60 days of the tabulation of the budget. Otherwise, it would go defunct. The Supreme Court on Thursday had issued an interim order asking the government under Chief Minister Thapa's leadership to not make any policy-level decisions bearing long-term impact till the final hearing. Following Thapa's floor test on August 22nd, the CP and UML had moved to the Supreme Court, arguing that Thapa had secured trust vote in an illegal manner. The Rashtriya Swatantra Party is holding a meeting of its parliamentary party today. RSP's Chief Whip Santosh Pariyar stated that the meeting would take place at 5 p.m. at the party's parliamentary party office in Singhadarbar. Recent political developments, the party's role within the parliament, other contemporary matters are the agendas for discussion. The session will also delve into matters such as the selection of chairpersons for the parliamentary thematic committees, the party's lodged resolutions at the parliament, and proposals of significance to the public are also the agendas for discussion in today's parliamentary party meeting of the Rashtriya Swatantra Party. And that was the update from the political front, and we take a short break here. We'll look into other developments. When you come back, stay with us. Welcome back to NTV News, taking a look into further developments. The dengue infection has claimed 14 lives in Koshi province as the province continues to witness an unabated spread of dengue fever, while 22,237 have contracted the infection so far. Among the 77 districts of the country, Sunsari of Koshi province has seen the highest number of cases, with 15,952 cases reported so far. According to the Public Health Officer at Province Health Directorate, Dhankuta Vivechana Chamlagai, the district has reported 12 deaths since mid-July. Chamlagai added all the 14 districts of the Koshi province have been gripped by the dengue outbreak. The BP Koirala Institute of Health Sciences and other health facilities in the Koshi province are grappling with the rising number of dengue cases. Meanwhile, larva search and destroy campaign and public awareness programs have been launched in all the local levels of the province in a bid to contain the dengue outbreak. Most parts of the country, including Kathmandu Valley, have witnessed rainfall since the past few days, owing to impacts of effects of a low-pressure system and new weather pattern. According to Weather Forecasting Division, the ongoing precipitation is anticipated to continue till today, with the chances of heavy rains at one or two places, particularly in Koshi, Bagmati, Gandaki and Sudur Paschim provinces. Meanwhile, an alert has been issued due to a significant rise in the water level of the Sapta Koshi River. The Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has reported that the water level at Chatara has surpassed the critical mark of 6 meters, triggering concern. The water levels in the Tamor, Tunkoshi and Arun rivers have also experienced an increase. The department has advised residents in the coastal regions of Udaipur, Sunsari and Saptari, which are susceptible to flooding, to exercise high vigilance by this evening. The incessant rainfall has also triggered landslide along the Kanti highway, with the vehicular movement obstructed at Phattedara, the bordering area of Lalitpur and Makwanpur districts. Vehicular movement along the Melamchi-Hilambu road section in Sindhupalchok has also been disrupted due to floods. Taking you to the international front now, where India and China have agreed to de-escalate tensions along the disputed border after a conversation between its leaders, a senior Indian official said. Indian Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra has said that both the sides had agreed to step up efforts for the disengagement of troops along the LAC. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping spoke on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in South Africa on Wednesday. Beijing said the meeting was held at the Modi's request. China's foreign ministry said in a statement that the two leaders had a candid and in-depth exchange of views on current China-India relations and other questions of shared interest. Relations between India and China have been worsening for more than 3 years owing to border issues. Time to take yet another break. Stay with us for more updates. Welcome back towards more update from the international front, where former U.S. President Donald Trump has surrendered in Georgia on charges of plotting to overturn the state's 2020 election results in an arrest that saw the first ever mugshot of a former U.S. president. It was his fourth arrest in 5 months in a criminal case, but this was his first police booking photo. Trump had to pay a bail bond of $200,000 to be released from the Atlanta jail while he awaits trial. Afterwards, he described the case as a travesty of justice. Trump denies 13 charges, including racketeering and false statements, as he runs for the election again in 2024. Russia says it saw off 42 drones launched by Ukraine over the occupied Crimean Peninsula overnight. It comes one day after Ukraine claimed its troops briefly landed in Crimea to mark the country's Independence Day. The governor of Crimea has said no civilians' infrastructure was damaged by the drone strike, but he says the area is prepared for future attacks. Drone strikes from Ukraine are becoming increasingly common of late. A catastrophic die-off of emperor penguin chicks has been observed in the Antarctic, with up to 10,000 young birds estimated to have been killed. The sea ice underneath the chicks melted and broke apart before they could develop the waterproof feathers needed to swim in the ocean. The birds most likely drowned or froze to death. The event in late 2020 occurred in the west of the continent in an area fronting onto the Bellingshausen Sea. It was recorded by the satellites, as said by the BBC. And let's take a look into the highlights of what's coming up next. In another series of space exploration, the space vegetable planting experiment conducted by the Shenzhou 16 crew, who have been in orbit for almost 3 months, has yielded a good harvest. The professional space cultivation device used in the experiment is a simple, modular and open structure designed by the researchers of China Astronaut Research and Training Center. It allows the astronauts to touch the plants at any time. The device can provide carbon dioxide, temperature and humidity, oxygen and other environments needed for plant growth, similar to those for the astronauts in the cabin. It can be put anywhere with light in the cabin as decoration. The romaine lettuce planted by the Shenzhou 16 crew has been growing promisingly with scientific supply of light and water. Previously, during the Shenzhou 11 mission, the astronauts completed the entire process of lettuce production, from sowing seeds, planting and harvesting. Time now for sports update. Nepal is playing against host Malaysia in its third encounter of the MCA Women's T20 Quadrangular Cricket Series. The Nepali side has been invited to bat first after Malaysia won the toss. In the match underway at the Biomass Oval Cricket Ground, Nepal so far has scored 23 runs in 4.4 overs with the loss of 1 wicket. Nepal is currently in the top position of points table with 4 points. The top 2 among 4 teams will play the series final on Saturday. The Women's T20 Quadrangular Series features 4 competitive nations, namely Nepal, Malaysia, Kuwait and Hong Kong. The series is being hosted in the build-up to the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Asia qualifiers to be held from August 31 to September 9 in Malaysia. The US Open will be the first Grand Slam to use a video review VR system to assist chair umpires when calls are challenged at this year's tournament, with the system already generating positive feedbacks at various ATP events. The system will allow players to challenge a range of decisions, such as those relating to double bounces and fall shots, and will use various camera angles to get the best view of an incident. The US Open added the system will also be used to monitor player behavior. The US Open is all set to kick off from August 28 in New York. And this brings us to the end of the bulletin. A quick reminder of the top stories so far. Koshi Province government likely to undergo a zero-budget situation following recent ruling of the Supreme Court, deadline to replace budget ordinance expiring on Sunday. India and China agreed to de-escalate tensions along the disputed border, agreed to step up efforts for the disengagement of troops along the LAC. Former US President Trump surrenders after being booked on charges of plotting to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia, says charges are politically motivated. Nepal batting against host Malaysia in its third encounter in MCA Women's T20 Quadrangular Cricket Series. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead. Namaste.